So hi, I'm here with Natasha Roberts, a academic nurse from Brisbane, and we're going to be talking about a very exciting paper that you've just had published, Natasha.
Yes.
I think this was was funded by an ANZUP fellowship
Yeah.
that was supported by Janssen Sealag a little while ago.
Yeah.
So tell us about the study.
So it was actually the research question actually evolved over time. We've done some work uh, locally in our cancer care service to try and understand patients' understanding of clinical trials, looking at it purely from a recruitment point of view. We did a small project and we came to understand that uh, the experiences of patients participating on a clinical trial can have some impact on the broader community. They share what happens to them. They talk to their family and friends, and it was back in the days before patient experience was really integrated into our day-to-day care. I know we are very interested in patient experience, but at that time there wasn't a lot of mechanisms to measure it and understand it. So that's when that work for this paper started. We wanted to understand patient experiences, looked at the literature, and then we put together the project, and we're very fortunate to get the fellowship. And so in essence, it was doing qualitative interviews with ANZUP clinical trials participants to understand their experiences of taking part in a clinical trial.
Okay, fantastic. And so just tell us what were the key findings? What did you learn?
So I guess the key finding, sort of the punchline, I guess you could call it, would be that patients' experiences, I know it's not surprising when you say it, but their experiences vary according to what part of the trial they're in. So what their needs are, their supportive care needs are, for screening, entering into a trial, look completely different to what they look like when they're on active treatment, and also then when they're on follow-up after the trial.
Okay. And so what have you started to do differently in the way that you're designing and running trials as a result of these results?
Yeah, so I guess that's a very good question. I think I'll talk about what I'd like to do,
Yeah.
and then I can tell you what we're doing. So as far as what we're doing, we're making sure that the clinical team is involved throughout the trial. And I'm talking about the supportive care clinical team. Patients do tend to go onto a different pathway when they're on a clinical trial and they sit within the trials team and somehow miss out on those supportive care pathways. So we're making sure that continues, that updates are provided to the team, that those information resources are made available. So I guess that's one of the key things. And also when they finish the trial, that there's that mechanism to rejoin standard of care pathways. What I'd like to see happening more is in that screening phase, that families and patients are supported more holistically, rather than that mechanism of your screening to go on a clinical trial. It becomes a very high stakes exercise when that's the whole focus of what's going on in that person's life at the expense of everything else going on around them.
Okay. And for those people in the ANZUP membership in the broader community who aren't so familiar with it, what is qualitative research and how do you kind of do it?
Yes. There's so like all types of research, qualitative research sits on a spectrum, and you can use it to, and so it's about asking those open-ended questions, getting that sort of more detailed information rather than that binary yes, no that you get in statistics of zeros and ones. And so it's really about those open-end questions, but it sits on that continuum, as I mentioned. So it can just be a content analysis where you just saying what words people used, right through to deriving a meaning or a theory, or when you're looking at phenomenology, or developing a framework with grounded theory. We sort of sat in the middle when we did this work. We certainly had a very, very structured approach, but we wanted to understand and dig deep, so that we could really understand people's experiences and then interpret it in a way that was meaningful to the broader community. Yeah.
Fantastic. Are there things about the paper that I haven't asked you that you'd like to tell us?
I guess the main thing would be, what would the next steps look like? And I think once you get a paper published, it's easy to go, oh, that's great that we got that information out there. But having those next steps and what they should look like, I think that's something we probably need to be more proactive about with building knowledge. So that's probably my only comment that I'd like to make. Yeah, fantastic.
And so thanks for talking with me this afternoon, Natasha. And maybe next year we can come back and look at what has actually happened in implementing changes based on the findings of this paper.
Yeah, I would really like that to happen. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.